Antarctica's alarming ice retreat. A 25-year study reveals significant losses. Over 40% of Antarctica's ice shelves reduced in volume over 25 years. Thinning ice shelves release a vast quantity of freshwater into the oceans. Ice shelves on the western side of Antarctica most impacted. Human-induced global warming a likely cause. 71 of the 162 ice shelves that surround Antarctica have reduced in volume over 25 years from 1997 to 2021, with a net release of 7.5 trillion tons of meltwater into the oceans, say scientists. They found that almost all the ice shelves on the western side of Antarctica experienced ice loss. In contrast, most of the ice shelves on the eastern side stayed the same or increased in volume. Over the 25 years, the scientists calculated almost 67 trillion tons of ice was exported to the ocean, which was offset by 59 trillion tons of ice being added to the ice shelves, giving a net loss of 7.5 trillion tons. Dr. Benjamin Davison, a research fellow at the University of Leeds who led the study, said, "There is a mixed picture of ice shelf deterioration, and this is to do with the ocean temperature and ocean currents around Antarctica. The western half is exposed to warm water, which can rapidly erode the ice shelves from below, whereas much of East Antarctica is currently protected from nearby warm water by a band of cold water at the coast." Geographical and climate differences. Antarctica is a vast continent, 50 times the size of the UK, and the seas on the western side experience different currents and winds than on the east, and this is driving warmer water underneath the ice shelves on the western flank. Dr. Davison, an expert in Earth observation of polar regions in the School of Earth and Environment, said, "We expected most ice shelves to go through cycles of rapid but short-lived shrinking, then to regrow slowly. Instead, we see that almost half of them are shrinking with no sign of recovery." He believes human-induced global warming is likely to be a key factor in the loss of the ice. If it was due to natural variation in climate patterns, there would have been some signs of ice regrowth on the western ice shelves. Ice shelves float on the seas surrounding Antarctica and are extensions to the ice sheet that covers much of the continent. The ice shelves act as giant plugs at the end of glaciers, slowing down the flow of ice draining into the oceans. When the ice shelves thin or reduce in size, these plugs weaken with the result that the rate of ice lost from the glaciers increases. Getz Ice Shelf. Some of the biggest ice losses were observed on the Getz Ice Shelf, where 1.9 trillion tons of ice were lost over the 25-year study period. Just 5% of that was due to calving, where large chunks of ice break away from the shelf and move into the ocean. The rest was due to melting at the base of the ice shelf. Similarly, on the Pine Island Ice Shelf, 1.3 trillion tons of ice were lost. Around a third of that loss, 450 billion tons, was due to calving. The rest is due to melting from the underside of the ice shelf. In contrast, the Amory Ice Shelf, on the other side of Antarctica, gained 1.2 trillion tons of ice. It is surrounded by much colder waters. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like and hit the bell icon.